gay and for joyfully and openly expressing themselves in a public space. We cannot detach this violence from the climate of discriminatory and hateful rhetoric against our LGBTQIA+ communities that has been permeating throughout the city and our nation. This cannot be allowed to continue and escalate to violence that makes all of us less safe. We must work to protect each other and our community so that all of us can be safe in the expression of our full identities without the fear or threat of violence. Yesterday, 26-year-old police officer Alexis Martinez was taken from us in the Southview neighborhood of the Bronx. Our hearts are heavy, and the entire city is saddened by his loss. Now I want to take a moment to address the ongoing situation outside of the intake for emergency shelter at the Roosevelt Hotel. Over the past several days, dozens of people seeking asylum in our country have been forced to remain on the streets, even overnight, waiting for shelter. We know that there continues to be a dire need for more federal support, and we will continue to advocate for what our city deserves. Yet, there are actions that we as a city must undertake by working together to address this situation and support our communities and those in need. This is about helping longtime New Yorkers, our communities, and people seeking asylum. Responding to this challenge cannot solely be focused on finding space or requesting more federal funding. It requires an all-of-the-above approach, because what we face is not the result of a single issue. These interconnected issues are far more complicated and demand comprehensive solutions that can only be achieved by all of us working together. We must come together around all the necessary solutions for more federal funding, better homelessness and housing solutions, better management of key services, and investing more wisely in evidence-based solutions that work to address homelessness. Now let's move on to our stated agenda. First, we'll vote on the following finance items: a transparency resolution approving new designations and changes of certain organizations receiving funding in the expense budget. Next, we'll vote on the following land use items: Ocean Crest rezoning. We'll rezone a site in Majority Whip Brooks Powers District from an existing R4-1 to R6A. This approval will facilitate a 100% affordable home ownership project with up to 100 units. I want to thank Majority Whip Brooks Powers, the community builders, Governor Hochul, Mayor Adams, Congressman Gregory Meeks, Senator James Sanders, Assemblymember Khalil Anderson, Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, and HPD for their partnership and collaboration to get this project across the finish line. 7120, New Utrecht rezoning, will facilitate a new mixed-use 8-story building with approximately 88 housing units, including 26 affordable units under MIH in Councilmember Brannon's district. 56 William Avenue will facilitate one new 2-family home in Minority Leader Borelli's district. A new 696-seat primary school in Councilmember Lynn Schulman's district. 1160 Flushing Avenue will facilitate a new mixed-use industrial and commercial development in Bushwick. The council is modifying the rezoning area to remove additional properties along Wyckoff Avenue where there is no agreement or commitment in place to provide industrial space, in line with recommendations from Brooklyn Community Board 4 and the Brooklyn Borough President in Councilmember Gutierrez's district. We're also voting on 2 landmark designations. Linden Street Historic District, a cohesive and distinctive block of 32 row houses in the Bushwick neighborhood in Brooklyn, in Councilmember Gutierrez's district. And former Colored School Number 4, a 3-story mid-block building in the Chelsea neighborhood in Manhattan, built by the city's Public School Society in the late 1840s. The schoolhouse served black children exclusively until the public school system closed the segregated school in 1894 in Councilmember Botcher's district. We'll vote on the following resolutions. First, we'll vote on Resolution 237A, sponsored by Higher Education Committee Chair Councilmember Eric Dinowitz, which calls on the New York State Legislature to pass and the governor to sign the Fair Housing College Admissions Act. This state bill would prohibit legacy admissions preferences at undergraduate colleges in New York State, declaring such policies as inequitable and discriminatory. We'll also vote on a pair of resolutions. Resolution 694A, sponsored by Civil Service and Labor Committee Chair Carmen De La Rosa, and Resolution 729A, sponsored by Chair De La Rosa and Councilmember Amanda Farias, to express the council's support for the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild unions, respectively, in their fights for fair contracts. There will be several pieces of legislation on today's agenda. Introduction 289A, sponsored by Councilmember Carlina Rivera, will require the Department of Transportation to create and regularly update a searchable bicycle infrastructure map with all bike lanes in New York City. The map must contain information about current or planned obstructions on bike routes and feature the location of open streets, bike parking infrastructure, micro-mobility stations, and information on how to report bike lane issues. And I now enthusiastically invite Councilmember Rivera to the podium to discuss her legislation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your support and for your leadership. Good afternoon, everyone. How's it going? Okay. Energy here. All right, so I just want to thank you all. I want to thank the Speaker for inviting me to discuss this bill, Intro 289. It will require the New York City Department of Transportation to create a searchable map of every bicycle lane in New York City with information about bike network disruptions, the location of temporary bicycle lanes, the location of open streets, bicycle parking infrastructure, micromobility share programs and stations, and information on how to report bicycle lane issues. For those of you that don't know, when you do look up a map to see your bicycle route, it really is just using a static PDF version of data from the Department of Transportation. And this would be a, up to the minute, constantly updating, living document that would be very, very helpful to those that are cycling throughout New York City and the 5 boroughs. New York has expanded its bike network to over 1,500 miles of bike lanes, including hundreds of miles of protected lanes. Effective operation, including predictable routes and trips, detours, and provisions during disruption, that needs to be part of a critical part of the city strategy to build cycling into a safe and more accessible means of getting around town. So this creation of a searchable map will enhance safety, quality of life, and the citywide bicycle network. So why now? Why are we doing this? It is urgent. We had 18 bike riders killed in the first 6 months of 2023, putting New York on track to have the second deadliest year to date for cyclists. We cannot continue to accept this level of traffic violence, and we must meet this crisis with the urgency that it deserves. In 2021, the New York City Department of Transportation reported over 550,000 daily cycling trips, as well as almost 5,000 cyclist injuries and 19 fatalities. And this is a trend. Cycling is going up. People are realizing that it is a healthy, sustainable thing to do. And we really have to ensure that we are building the city forward, especially when we have former New York City areas that were formerly manufacturing, areas that weren't previously as residential, and people are biking more now. So I'm proud to have worked on this legislation in coalition with colleagues, advocates, and neighbors, and to build on really the meaningful legislation that I have passed during my last term in 2019, protected detours for bike lanes impacted by construction, of course the Master Streets Plan that I did alongside the Speaker, and in 2022 a bill to require a citywide greenways master plan under the leadership of Chair Brooks Powers. So this bike transportation system really does need this sort of investment. The city and private entities across the nation made investments years ago to track car traffic and impact in minute details. So we have to start doing the same for cyclists. And we looked at other maps in other US cities and also in Europe, and we could not find a map that had this level of detail. So I want to thank the Speaker and her team, and of course mine and the advocates, for finally getting this across the finish line. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Council Member. Introduction 689A, sponsored by Public Advocate Jumani Williams, would eliminate the Department of Building permit and filing fees related to certain green building projects for 1 to 3 family homes. Green building projects would include projects or renovations that will produce, from utilization of renewable resources, a decrease in carbon emissions in at least half of the building's prior emissions. Public Advocate was here, but he had to go, and we thank him for his legislation. Introduction 384A, sponsored by Majority Whip Sylvina Brooks Powers, would create an Office of the Homeowner Advocate within the Department of Housing Preservation and Development to provide information, resources, and assistance to homeowners. The Office of the Homeowner Advocate would also be required to report annually on homeowner inquiries received, actions taken to address these inquiries, and make recommendations for services for homeowners that are not currently available. I invite Majority Whip Brooks Powers to speak on her legislation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today as we prepare to pass a bill of crucial importance to my community and to communities all across the city, Introduction 384, which would create an Office of the Homeowner Advocate. In her State of the City, the Speaker reminded us when we talk about housing, we cannot forget homeownership. Homeownership used to be a part of our story, but these days it feels closer to a pipe dream, is what I recall her saying. New York City's homeownership rate is about half the nationwide number. It is even less for New Yorkers of color. Our homeownership rate for Black residents is 27%, and for Hispanic and Latino residents, it is roughly 17%, well below half of the 42% rate for white New Yorkers. Homeownership has long been a vehicle for Americans to build wealth, but for low-income New Yorkers, investing in a home and keeping it such that a family can build equity over generations has scarcely been harder than it is today. We need to invest in homeownership such that when New Yorkers in low-income neighborhoods or communities of color buy a home, they know the city has their back. That's why I'm proud to sponsor Introduction 384. This bill would, as I mentioned before, create the Office of Homeowner Advocate, but some of the key points is that OHA is tasked with providing support to homeowners, including acting as a liaison between homeowners, city, state, and federal agencies, providing referrals to homeowners and holding trainings and workshops. They will also work alongside nonprofits that are currently providing services to homeowners. OHA will help homeowners across private and public financial and technical resources and create public awareness campaigns about the rights and responsibility of homeowners. It would also report on how we ensure free and low-cost homeowner services are widely available. And we also will vote through a land use item in my district, the Ocean Crest rezoning, which will result in 100% affordable homeownership project in my district. I want to thank Speaker Adrienne Adams, her Chief of Staff, Jeremy John, for their leadership and guidance throughout this process. I want to thank the land use staff as well, Paris Strada, Jay Coe, James Catone, Brian Paul, and everyone at Central staff who worked on this. As ever, I'm grateful to my local elected partners, including Congressman Meeks, Senator Sanders, Assemblymember Anderson, Borough President Richards. And I also owe special thanks to Speaker Carl Heastie for his commitment to homeownership and recognizing the need. What we did today and what we will do today is something that is unprecedented, bringing all levels of government together to be able to create affordable homeownership, where we will allow people to be on a path to have a stake in the community and create community. I am always thankful for my community and its members, from the community board to local civic organizations to everyday residents. And finally, I want to thank my Chief of Staff, Renee Taylor, and my Policy Director, Jack Siegenthaler. I want to close by recognizing that the city's Black population has declined by nearly 200,000 people in the past 2 decades. So many of these New Yorkers, low-income New Yorkers and New Yorkers of color, are being priced out of this city. Legislation like this and projects like Ocean Crest will help ensure more of these New Yorkers have the ability and stability to stay. I look forward to working with the administration to expand resources for homeowners in communities like mine and making the American dream more accessible here in New York City. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In continuation of the Council's efforts to legislate against the harms of lead-based paint, we will vote on several bills sponsored by our Deputy Speaker, Diana Ayala, to increase inspection, remediation, and enforcement against these hazards. Introduction 5A would require building owners to produce records of lead-based hazard inspections, investigations, and remediation work, including X-ray fluorescent testing after August 1st, 2025. Introduction 6A would expand the remediation requirement for lead-based hazards for turned-over units to include remediation prior to turnover where a child under 6 years old resides. And Introduction 750A would shift the city's inspection process to be more proactive by requiring HPD and DOHMH to annually identify and inspect buildings where children live and where there might be a risk of exposure to lead-based hazards, given a building's violation history. Finally, the Council will vote on Introduction 31C, sponsored by Consumer and Worker Protection Committee Chair, Councilmember Marjorie Velasquez, which will establish a permanent outdoor dining program. After an extensive progress of engagement, with many thoughtful conversions with the various stakeholders, we are voting to create a newly revised permanent outdoor dining program that will continue to serve our restaurants, residents, and visitors. During the COVID-19 pandemic, outdoor dining became a lifeline for small businesses and New Yorkers seeking socialization and normalcy through a temporary program that expanded the opportunity beyond the limited capacity primarily in Manhattan. This legislation incorporates lessons learned from this temporary program by making increased accessibility and inclusivity to outdoor dining permanent, while addressing concerns to strike the right balance for restaurants, neighborhoods, and all New Yorkers. The legislation makes it possible for many restaurants to participate, eases the bureaucratic barriers, and makes the cost of participation affordable, while focusing on regulations to enhance orderliness and uniformity missing from the temporary program. This permanent program under local law will serve and support our neighborhoods, restaurants, residents, and city for years to come. Introduction 31C will allow sidewalk cafes to operate year-round and for the first time permanently allow roadway cafes to operate most of the year, specifically the warmer 8 months of April through November. Makes the cost for restaurants to participate in the outdoor dining program more affordable and lower compared to the pre-pandemic outdoor dining licensing and revocable consent process. Reduce the required processes and timeliness for restaurants to receive approval from city agencies and entities. In conjunction with zoning changes approved by the Council in 2022, permit more neighborhoods and restaurants within them to be eligible for participation in outdoor dining than the previous pre-pandemic sidewalk cafe program, and provide time for restaurants to transition, allowing them to continue their outdoor dining operations even after this local law takes effect, as long as they apply for a license and submit a petition for a revocable consent on or before the date set forth by the Department of Transportation or DOT, which cannot be less than 3 months after the rules go into effect. I now invite Councilmember Marjorie Velasquez to come forward and deliver some remarks about this long-awaited, long-anticipated legislation.
Thank you, Speaker. And before I begin my remarks, I just want to take a couple of moments to talk about what the Speaker started off with and the loss of life that we've seen this week. We need to honor those lives, and most importantly, as New Yorkers, we need to see each other. We need to be there for each other. We are one. As David Dinkins often talked about the beautiful mosaic that we are, We need to reflect that with love. Let's be there for each other. And let's stop the senseless violence. Okay. With that being said, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to begin by acknowledging some of the people that made this today possible. First, I want to thank you, Speaker Adams. It was very, very long. And just thank you for trusting in me from the beginning, January 2022. And here we are, August 2023. I want to thank my colleagues in the New York City Council for their support crafting this important piece of legislation that will be a huge economic boon for our vital restaurant industry. I also want to thank Mayor Adams, Deputy Mayor Mira Joshi, Deputy Director of New York City Council Ledge Division, Rachel Cordero. This one's for you. Y'all, she worked really, really hard, and we really should give her a round of applause because I love you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Want to also thank Assistant Deputy Director David Seitzer, Committee Counsel Sarah Swain, Policy Analyst Natalie Meltzer, Chief of Public Realm Ya-Ting Liu, Director of City Ledge Affairs Jessica Carano, Deputy Director Connor Martinez, Senior Legislative Representative Jake Capistran. I also want to thank the OG, the one who started it, Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso, who has been a champion for this program since his time as a council member. More importantly, I'd like to thank all the industry experts, restaurant owners, workers in the service industry, and New Yorkers from across all 5 boroughs who made their voices heard. This piece of legislation could not have come at a better time. It's Restaurant Week, let's not forget, where we're here to celebrate the great culinary delights that make New York City the greatest foodie town on this planet. And what better way to celebrate than grabbing a bite outdoors at your favorite restaurant or watering hole? While this was not a one-size-fit-all piece of legislation, the beauty of this bill is that it comes as a prime example of democracy at work, taking into account all the concerns of those that will be impacted. The COVID-19 lockdowns were a dark time for New York City. There's a cloud of uncertainty hanging in the air. The city that never sleeps had come to a screeching halt because of a global crisis. Our streets became literal ghost towns as we collectively tried to figure out how to navigate these uncharted waters. But in these dark times, we all worked together to come up with a thoughtful solution. We adjusted the changing landscape around us, and we came up with ideas to help New York City rebound as quickly and effectively as possible. One of those ideas that helped jumpstart New York City was open restaurants. During the pandemic, outdoor dining was a lifeline for our city, having helped keep businesses open while the city was shut down. The program kept people employed and gave our local communities an opportunity to connect with one another, to be outside of our homes safely. Approximately 12,000 businesses like Havana Cafe and Patricia's of Morris Park in my district participated in the expanded pandemic-era iteration of the Open Restaurants program. More than half based in the 4 outer boroughs, helping keep New York City's economy afloat and people employed. What the Open Restaurant Executive Order proved was that not only were there potential benefits for consumers, but also an opportunity for the food service and restaurant industry to benefit. Prior to the pandemic, outdoor dining was not widely discussed or accessible and faced an incredible amount of bureaucratic hurdles throughout the application process and zoning restrictions in the outer boroughs like mine. Building on what worked during the pandemic, we, as a council, have addressed the biggest hurdles to making outdoor dining more equitable. 1, cost. 2, red tape in the application process. 3, zoning restrictions in the outer boroughs. Under this plan, we give businesses equity, allowing restaurant owners outside Manhattan to have the same opportunities to rebound from pandemic as those in Manhattan. This bill is a culmination of bringing everyone to the table and creating a uniform program that considers the unique circumstances in each borough and neighborhood. Intro 31C provides the peace of mind for our businesses to have a permanent program and a space for our city to move forward and to continue to evolve this program and how we utilize our spaces. We heard your concerns from restaurant owners, workers in the food industry, constituents, local businesses outside the industry that will be impacted by the legislation. And having spent the year negotiating and modifying the bill as to be as inclusive and equitable as possible, meeting the needs of the different types of restaurants and eateries across our city. This pandemic changed our lives, changed the way we live, the way we do business, for better or for worse. But as New Yorkers, we continue to fight. We continue to evolve during these dark times. And now, right now, we have the opportunity to build a stronger New York, to revitalize our barren streetscape, also giving our food and restaurant industry, particularly our small business owners, the mom and pop stores around the 5 boroughs, yes, 5, we're including our outer boroughs, we're never gonna forget y'all, the tools to not only bounce back from hardships, but also help propel our local and state economy into a brighter future. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Velasquez. I'm going to shout out the Door Restaurant and Sangria in Southeast Queens. That concludes our stated agenda, and with that, we will take on-topic questions first.
Thank you. Can you talk about the decision to limit roadway dining to the warmer months? Some Russians have said that that will create burdens and costs of having to take down structures and back up. How did that decision come about?
Councilmember, do you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. So we did mention we had a lot of discussions with different people. And more importantly, what we experienced during the pandemic is a different reality that we have now. Right now, we're allowed to be in smaller spaces. We're allowed to go inside. And so now it's our time to be innovative with the spaces that we can design. And so that's what we're looking forward to. Specifically, we're finding a middle ground by hearing the community and also addressing the issues that the restaurant owners face. And we're addressing the sanitation aspect. We're also addressing the realities of folks now not having a permanent structure outside, and what are we gonna do in those cold months, right? So it's balancing it and making sure that everyone has a seat at the table, which we do. Thank you.
Maybe for Councilwoman Velasquez again. Another concern that's come up is the fact that the permits to do outdoor dining is now going to come at a cost. A lot of restaurant owners saying that it's going to put an undue financial burden on them, and I guess I'm wondering why this ultimately made it into the package and why the cost for serving outdoors was seen as an integral part of the program.
I will defer to Councilmember Velasquez on that as well. I'm going to give her the spotlight today.
So in the past, prior to the pandemic, we businesses actually had a higher fee, right? And so what we did with this bill, right, what you're experiencing is a reduction in fees, and we actually tailored it to 4 different tiers and making it comparable to the commercial corridors within the city. So boroughs like mine in the Bronx will pay less than certain areas in Manhattan
And it's a lower fee
than what it would have been in the past, right? So what was
for like
existing,
regular sidewalk.
so sidewalk to sidewalk and then roadway to roadway. So what we're comparing is apples to apples and not apples to oranges, and making sure that the fees for sidewalk is comparable in the past, and it's lower this time around than the ones in the past, and also the roadways are now actually come at a cost as well.
Could I just follow up on the previous question? You mentioned,
Sorry, running out of time. We have to.
it's very fast. It just basically, I was wondering, you mentioned taking down the sheds during the winter months came from, it was about balancing concerns. I'm just wondering, what were those concerns about keeping them near
Well, there's accessibility concerns, right? There's visibility concerns, clearances, and additionally, like sanitary concerns that were raised throughout the process. We heard those loud and clear when we knocked all these abandoned sheds out last year. Remember me with that sledgehammer? It was a little heavy, but you know, this gun show is not what it's meant to do, right? But more importantly, it's listening. And we know that now we are evolving with the times and making sure that we actually design this now together. So that you'll see during the rulemaking process, and we're encouraging everyone to turn out to discuss what would you like to see in your neighborhood and how do we standardize that model together.
Okay, so let's move on off topic. Speaker, did you Kevin, Kevin, I didn't call on you. Okay, next off topic. No, Kevin, no. Off topic?
I'm good, thank you.
So last week, Mayor Adams and several other members of the congressional delegation went down to DC to advocate for more resources for the migrant crisis. They were promised a DHS staffer. We still don't know, it's been a week, we still don't know who the person is, what their duties will be. Do you think that Washington is not taking this seriously? And do you think
As far as Washington taking this seriously, that remains a tremendous question for us here who are experiencing this immense crisis that it's never been seen before, a crisis that New York is taking on for the nation. The second part of your question, I'm sorry, Bernadette.
Just, I don't remember what I asked. But,
The DHS.
I guess,
The
what more would you
DHS.
like to see, I suppose? What more would you like to see from Washington? Again, is the staffer enough?
Great question. Yes, 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 yes. I got hung up because the crisis really is first and foremost on a lot of us. It weighs heavy on all of our boroughs and on the city of New York. We need the federal government to step in yesterday to help our city, arguably the greatest city on the planet, deal with the migrant crisis that we have dealt with for a little over a year now. This is unprecedented for the city. This is unprecedented for the nation. We take care of a lot of different places within the city and outside of the city on a federal level. It is time for the federal government to do its part when it comes to New York, when it comes to helping out New York. In this crisis, we're doing the best that we can under extreme circumstances, but it is taking far too long for the federal government to step up and do what they should have done a long time ago.
Do you think just a staffer is a puny offer as opposed to other resources, the declaration of a federal emergency?
We could use a whole lot more than a staffer. And if we're getting a staffer, we need to have a staffer with a plan.
Piggybacking off of Bernadette's question, have you been to the Roosevelt Hotel yourself to see the situation down there? You know, the public advocate went yesterday. And then talking about these new sites in Queens, do you agree with the city's strategy on these sites?
I have not been to the Roosevelt Hotel, and part of that is because I have several sites in my own district. I don't know if you're aware, several sites in my own district. So I can conceivably walk from my home to any site that houses migrants. We did a visit a couple of days ago, Majority Whip Powers and I, and members of the administration over to the respite center at JFK. So we are well aware, more than acutely aware, you know, of what the sites look like, how they are housed, the differences between a HERC and a respite center and a shelter type of facility. And again, you know, just saying what I previously stated, the situations at all of these facilities, it's a dire situation. We're watching families, we're watching children enrolled in schools or being enrolled in schools right now. We are hoping for the best for September for the children to be able to overcome language barriers. A lot of the migrants are coming in with experience of language assistance and other places, wanting to work. This is something else that we have been extremely vocal about. We need for the work situation to be handled by the president. Temporary work status is dire. We need every individual that is capable to become a part of the New York City fabric and workforce doing exactly that, and this is what they want to do.
Okay, thank you. Speaker, I wanted to ask about Randall's Island. Myself and other outlets have reported that the administration is planning to likely open new shelters there for capacity for as many as 2,000 migrants. As you probably remember, there used to be a shelter, a HERC on
It's a
Randall's
HERC.
Island.
Yes,
But they
visited it.
broke down. It was
Yes.
pretty costly to both build and break down. Do you think it was a mistake for the administration to take that down, given that they're now talking about building a brand new one?
Times have certainly changed. Between the origination of that facility and now, I'm sure that you will agree, Chris, that we have grown exponentially since then, and on a daily basis continue to take in more and more and more and more of the nation's issue. So the answer to that would be no. What is going on right now has to go on, and the mayor and the administration are looking across all 5 boroughs across the city because we do need more space to put the individuals that continue to come into the city.
I'm going to go back to outdoor dining.
Sure.
You earlier came out against the roadway structures
No.
At the time
No.
we were open at all?
No.
And, what
No.
do you say to restaurants who say they will just not bother to set them back up?
Well, I would beg to differ with your statement that I came out against quote-unquote roadway dining. Outdoor dining has always been a hot topic for us, particularly in the temporary state. That's why we've been moving so carefully over these many months to make sure that we got the proper balance for outdoor dining. There is a place for both types of outdoor dining, which I totally support, and I'm so glad that we're going to finally pass this legislation today. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, interns.